if you could
Yeah.
explain that.
Yeah, I think my approach to Jekyll and Hyde and their psychology is kind of central to why I wanted to write this story in the first place. And I know we're also going to be talking about talk to me and like possession as a concept. I actually see Jekyll and Hyde as a little bit of a contrast to stories of possession to being, taken over by an outside force. I would argue that what makes the concept of Jekyll and Hyde so compelling is that Hyde really is just a part of Jekyll. And I think the novella is actually pretty fairly hardline about this, that Jekyll almost has like a mathematical equation of how he sees himself. Like, I believe I would estimate I'm about 90% good, 10% evil. Maybe that's a generous assumption on his part. But that's how he sees him. And for him, the formula was about kind of splitting those things in two. And the formula is actually a little bit of a failure. Actually, his original intention was like, okay, I believe that humanity, each human being is fundamentally two people. You're the good side and the bad side. Um, Neither of them, what is interesting, he doesn't see like the bad side as like evil, like, or he's not trying to get rid of it. A lot.
I think it's, for me, what's really important, because this is my first book, it's to write stories that are essential through this aspirational lens, because even in the literary world, hip hop books don't really get acquired, right? And if they do, they're usually like a rapper's memoir, and they all kind of follow the same trajectory if you read a lot of them. And for me, it's this idea that we also need anthologies. Like, we need books that hopefully are prescribed in academic settings and are used to create documentaries and TV shows and movies. Like, that historical context as well as the analysis is really important. And for me, that is something that I really strive for. And I think, so very early on, we got a lot of great critical reviews for this book, like Kirkus and Booklist, like these very kind of literary places.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love that, like, New York Mag likes it, and people that aren't just from the literary world, like,
online, that have helped me get here, but it wasn't easy. And I had to I forced myself out of the darkness. I didn't want to be a monster anymore, to the world, to my community, to myself. And that's why I'm unapologetically queer in my writing and on these podcasts and on social media, because it's just living your true self, living and changing that storyline for yourself and living more authentically going forward. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I think as a poet, as a writer, as a creative, you've got to kind of be real with people about that stuff as well, because it's all super hard, and we all have to eat, we have to pay rent, we have to have day jobs. Part of the danger and the thing that makes us vulnerable is that we are doing this work out of love. And whenever that's your primary motivation, someone can exploit that. If we're not savvy, if we're not, kind of keeping an eye.